Welcome to the T Rowe Podcast, your ultimate destination for mastering the world of real estate and mortgage with an unwavering and huge emphasis on maintaining the right mindset. You know, in this ever-evolving landscape of real estate and mortgage, success absolutely requires more than just industry knowledge. It absolutely demands resilient and positive mindset. I'm anxious to share with you my experiences, storytelling, special guests. Let's get started. Focused on thinking, retaining, obtaining, and winning every single day. That's what T Rowe stands for. Hold on tight. Here we go. Okay, welcome back to the T Rowe Podcast. We have been absent, but we are back. It's been a minute, but I am so excited to have in the studio, physically in the studio with me today, Mr. Craig Davis from Ascend Experience. There we go. Yeah, so some of you may remember from the last time, and Craig, I know you do. I forgot to do that for you last time.
I remember you attempted to do it, but it's all right. It's a first. It's a mulligan. It's a mulligan.
We're baby steps, right? Yeah. And last time I also forgot to have a beer ready.
Now that's a bigger issue that we need to talk about.
This is Craig Davis special because Craig is bringing sexy back, everybody.
I mean, of course you found that beer.
Yeah, well, I shopped high and low for the right beer, and there it was. It might as well have said Craig Davis on the can. It was bringing sexy back.
You nailed it. You nailed it, brother.
Well, Craig, thanks for coming down. Listen, you and I saw each other for a little bit. Gosh, has it been a month since Momentum Builder? Or close? It's been about a month.
God, 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Okay.
But yeah, wow.
It seems like yesterday, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah, and that was an incredible event. And I know you won't say it, so I'm going to, but you killed it, brother.
Oh.
You were on the stage on and off.
And, thank you, man.
Well, we were just throwing bacon pits out there to the crowd.
There were so many new isms that we just created over there.
It was just awesome. I mean, I got stickers on my laptop.
I gave away a lot of stickers. Yeah.
No, it's so
Everyone
awesome.
loves a sticker. Yeah, that was a ton of fun. And thank you, by the way. It's you're on stage, man. You're sort of I don't know, is this thing on? Are people, But yeah, I think as it progressed, with what I did there, and for the audience, instead of just doing the normal, right, the normal keynote, I just came on and did 5-minute clarity nuts, bacon bits, just to help guide, or what we called Sherpa, the mindset of the audience throughout the event. So I was on, I think, 3 times the first day, twice the second day, and it was really good. And as it progressed, there was an arc to the story. There was design, and I tell you, it's a lot harder to come up with 5-minute increments versus a full 20, 30 or more.
I never thought of it like that, but I can imagine, especially when you're doing 5 minutes and you don't want the next 5 minutes to trample over the previous 5 minutes or duplicate, right?
That's right.
That's that's tough.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. Like I said, you're bringing sexy back.
No, but it was incredible, and hats off and thank you to Don and Gino and everybody who supports Momentum Builder, the audience, and all the speakers there. And it was, especially for me, man, having launched this business not even a year ago, 10 months ago, roughly, and so. That was a big deal for me to be there, and I appreciate, the trust and the enthusiasm to have me up there. So I don't take that lightly.
So I'm going to share with everybody, and then you're probably going to throw something heavy at me.
Well, probably.
But literally a year ago, you went to Momentum Builder with me.
A year ago,
and it was a different time in your life, as we know. And I'll never forget. You're just kind of roaming around Momentum Builder, and you made the comment to me. You're like, man, T Rowe, this is your jam, huh? This because I love that, as you know. I love that kind of environment. Yeah. And now we fast forward, and you're up on the stage 3 times, 2 times, each day. I mean, that's huge, man.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. Man, a lot of reflection, right? I mean, and again, we're talking about just 10 months. We're not talking about 10 years, right? In just a matter of 10 months, and what led to this. But I remember I was sitting at a table with you and Susanna and Neil Smith, who I'm having lunch with tomorrow, by the way. So I'm calling his name out, so listen to this.
Right on.
And he leans over the table to me during one of the presentations. He's like, dude, that should be you up there. And I remember looking at him like, yeah, thank you. And I agreed.
Yeah.
And I believed. But again, 10 months ago, I didn't know where or how. I didn't have a vision of where I was going because I was stuck somewhere I did not want to be, but I didn't know where to go.
Yeah, I think you said it at one point when you were up on stage there at Momentum Builder, and I think you've lived this in practice for sure, and that is, you made the comment, I'll reference Mortgage Coach. You make a decision, you want to use Mortgage Coach, but in order to really do that, you have to actually say you're a mortgage coach.
That's right.
So at some point, you made a conscious decision to say, look, I'm a coach, I'm a keynote, this is who I am.
That's right.
And 10 months later, holy smokes, you're up on stage in Vegas. I mean,
that's right.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing.
Well, and I'm happy you pointed that out. And, the keynote, one of the keynotes I give right now is called Make Shift Happen.
Yeah.
Hence the stickers. And in my momentum framework, what you just identified is number 2, which is reduce decision fatigue. And we have to reduce decision fatigue because our brains, we've got a lot going on up here. I'm not going to go down on these road, all these rabbit holes. But the point is, you establish the theme that you are, which creates your identity, and now your brain is looking through that lens, and that's how you step into your future self. So whatever your goal, your change, and it doesn't have to be big. It can be small. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But align with what your theme is to establish your identity so your brain can start making these decisions on your behalf.
Right.
And, Mortgage Coach is a good example.
Right.
Okay, I am a mortgage coach. Therefore, I do mortgage coach things,
No, I'll tell you, when you said that at Vegas, of course, I'm a mortgage coach. And not only am I a mortgage coach platform fan, but I am a mortgage coach. That's who I've always been.
Absolutely are.
And so when you said it that way, I was like, that's absolutely the magic.
That's absolutely right.
That's how someone, they want to use the software. Okay, great. But they first have to decide that's who they are.
That's right.
No, it's huge. And listen, I kind of swayed away because what I really want to dive into while you're here today is you had a post on social media the other day, actually. And it cracked me up. It was just you, video. There was some music playing and you're I don't know what you were doing, actually.
I was on my Remarkable.
Yes. And you posed the question, is AI going to replace us, right? Did I get that right?
I think you got that right.
Yeah. So as you can imagine, I love this topic. So I want to dive into this because, in my new role at Figure, which is a fintech company, that's what we are. So it's all technology based. And I've actually heard the same thing from salespeople, management, processors. They say, oh my gosh, this technology, this AI, these tools, they're going to replace us. Now, you respond to that, and then I'll tell you what I think.
Well, it's a great question to ask, and for everybody listening, I'm going to even look in the camera and say
there you
this.
go.
Yeah, right. Listen, this is not a new thing. Technology for years, and even including now with AI. And AI, we know AI is here. Technology and AI is here to leverage us, not replace us. And that's a key difference. And with a shift like that, now we can use it. Because, look, we have to go wider and deeper. And we need technology and AI to help us do that. But it cannot replace us. Well, it's trying. And in certain factions out there, it might in certain roles, but not in what we do. And if you are in anything that involves service and value, remember this statement. People connect with people, not product.
So true.
And this is a huge reframe for everybody listening. And I don't care if you're in sales or marketing or operations, everybody has an ideal client, and everybody has the ability to solve a problem and create an opportunity. And as you do that, think about this. That's your personal brand. That's what people connect with. Yeah. And that's what makes you last and valuable and so much more. So now how does tech and AI help leverage you to do that? Because if you don't do that, then, hey, look, the rockets out there, they are trying to replace you because they can do it cheaper, faster.
Sure. But
people don't connect with that. That's just a transaction. People connect with people, not product.
Yeah, I love that. And of course, that's a fantastic answer, which is why. So when you made
Let's
that
just
post,
have a little,
yeah,
you know,
there you go. That's toast to you,
yeah.
my friend. Yeah.
Thank you.
Um,
Pause for a sip.
Yep, definitely bringing sexy back, man. You know what? This beer isn't too bad, actually.
No,
it's
I
pretty
like
good. It's
it.
got a
I
little bit
like
of a
it.
citrus
I like
to
it.
it.
Yeah,
you know?
no,
yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, any beer that's going to be titled "Bringing Sexy Back," with you delivering it, like that was just win-win. That was an automatic. I think I'm already in on that. I mean, it could be like horrible, but like I'm gonna muscle through it just because.
Yeah.
Again, the brand, right?
Yeah. No. So, a couple things here. You made an interesting comment just now. You said the technology is not new. We've been dealing with technology and improvements in technology for years. So,
and the question is not new.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to back up in time. And most of the folks that listen to the podcast or that know you or I are very much in this industry, right? Mortgage, real estate, that type of thing, sales at some level. And when I started in this business, I didn't have a computer. In fact, the only person that had a computer was my processor, and that was Calex Point, and I wasn't allowed to use it.
Sure.
Everything was done handwritten 1003s, handwritten disclosures. I can remember doing good faith estimates with a pencil at people's kitchen tables and erasing it.
Carbon copy.
Yeah, sure, all that.
Right, yeah.
Then LP, DU, we started seeing that transition. Then we saw the transition of technology into robust LOS systems, right? Encompass now, Calex Point, dare I say Bike? Do we add them to the mix?
Yeah, hey, listen, Bike gets a bad rap, but it's an infrastructure, it's a plug-in.
Yeah.
But take that one step further, point of sales, right?
Yes.
And
so over each time something like that happened, there was a lot of concern. There was a lot of kicking and screaming for those that have been in the industry for a long time. That's just the honest truth.
But look at where the elite went with it.
Oh, yes. No, and that's my whole point. What this technology actually allows us as loan originators to do is actually help more people. Because it works that much more efficiently. It allows us to put ourselves in front of more people to help, which you've heard me say it at nauseum. That's what we do. We're in the business of helping people, and if we can agree on that, well, then how do we find more people to help?
That's right.
And so that's like my message with our fintech, figure and our technology platform. That's what it is. Yeah. It's like, sure, we're doing HELOCs, but the real magic is quickly deciding what can and can't be done.
But are you really doing HELOCs, or are you solving a problem to unlock equity quicker, easier, safer?
No, by the way, I did not pay him to say that. That's fantastic.
Just make sure everybody knows.
Yeah, right.
I'm on the T Rowe train. I get it.
Right.
But that's the important reframe that everybody needs to look at their business through that lens. Through the lens of, it's not the product. It's not the 30-year fix. It's not the DSCR loan. It's not the tech. It's not any of that. It's what problem does that solve? And so think about your ideal client. What's their problem? What's their opportunity? Yeah. Now, what's their stress of that problem? And how do you solve that problem?
Yeah.
Or what's the opportunity? What's the excitement of that opportunity? How do you provide and create that opportunity? And when you come down that funnel, that's your offer, right? That's what you're offering to your client base. Yep. And within that is your personal brand, but we got to reframe that. And that's a lot that I focus on, especially in my Success Foundations masterclass and and whatnot. Is how do we extract that? Because not only are we connecting to our ideal clients in a more thoughtful and engaging way that they care about based on their desired outcomes, but it's also connecting what we care about. Because look, man, right? Real estate, mortgage, all of it, it's tough. Ugh. It's a grind. We don't necessarily love our jobs every day, but there's something in what we do that we do love. And we have to find that, get a hold of that, because that is what connects our purpose, or what I call our joy, purpose, and passion. Yeah. And when you can find that and how that solves their problem or creates opportunity with what your ideal clients are looking for, that's when we find complete purpose and connection. Right. And now, by the way, when you can do that, you have never-ending content, marketing, customer engagement. You are now scalable. And by the way, you're also future-proof.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. And let me ask you a question. And it's funny because everyone throws around the term AI.
Yeah, right.
the reality is there's not a lot of AI actually. It's just technology.
Yeah, right.
Right. It's
AI's
not
just
like
another form.
there's not a robot that swings in here and does everything.
Although, no, it's coming, man.
Oh,
ChatGPT, man. They're about to put that into robots and they'll be sitting next to us.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. You're not lying.
Now, they are smarter than us, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean they're better than us.
Right. And they can't solve to exactly what you said. They can't solve for the relationship aspect of what it is we do.
Well, and think about it. All tech, including AI, which is, by the way, I mean, we all know. I don't have to explain it, right? Very intuitive. Like, anyone who's not on ChatGPT, right? The first way I discovered ChatGPT was actually last year, maybe last February, at Momentum Builder. And someone's like, go to ChatGPT. It probably was you. Go to ChatGPT and ask it to write you a poem.
Yes.
And just give it a few pieces of information. And so I did that, and I went, oh, shit. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Right? It did scare me a little bit. That is amazing. So how do we leverage that?
Yeah, well, I'll just share with you, I have continued to leverage ChatGPT, even in my new role. As an example, I was on a flight out to Texas last week, so I got 3.5, 4 hours to burn, and I grabbed my Remarkable here, and I just started making notes and thoughts, right? Yeah. 8 pages later, I had this dissertation, right? Yeah. So I get off the plane, I go to my hotel room, and on my Remarkable, I can click a button, and it converts it all to text. I emailed it to myself. I copied and pasted the entire thing, dropped it into my ChatGPT, and said, please improve.
That's amazing.
It completely, in seconds, it went through, and you'd have swore a genius wrote it. You know?
Yeah. Hey, look, a genius did write it.
Well,
I'll give it.
You use better words and terms.
A lot of vocab words.
Exactly.
Thus. And,
right. Yeah. It's that's not my strong. I mean, I had the thoughts, right, but then to clean it up, and so it was a great use of that tool.
Well, and that's how I think of AI is, either let it get you 80% there, and then you add your 20% on top.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. You've done the 80% and then let it clean it up the other 20%. So it is that in that kind of 80-20, but it's not 100%. Because, like, for example, I see social media just like you do. Yeah. I'm sure everybody else does, right? And you can smell ChatGPT from 1,000 miles away.
Oh, sure.
So now, of course, people are figuring out how to give it the right prompts and speak in this language. However, you can still see it. So you don't lose your authenticism. Right? Yeah. You don't lose who you are in it. And I struggled with that. I still struggle with that a little bit, to be honest. Yeah. I still want it to be my content, not AI's. And I'm not actually using ChatGPT that much. I probably need to use it more. I haven't found myself needing to, but I'm telling you that I am missing something by not using it more.
Well, I will tell you some other than that one example, it's not like I use it every day.
But you're using it for how you should.
Right. And so, like, as an example, I had a guest in the studio a while back, and so I just went into my ChatGPT and I said, podcast-styled questions for such and such a realtor, whatever, and literally it lined them out. Now, did I use every question? Absolutely not. But did it give me a great framework?
Did it get your mind working?
Yeah, I mean, it was beautiful for that. And by the way, for the record, I've never had to do that with you because I know that
I was going to say,
you and I can just.
Did you prompt?
I did not. No,
any of these questions. But.
Actually, I may not even be real.
I've actually asked that question a few times. Yeah. Some of the things, it's an interesting time. Technology happens. I mean, obviously, like it happens so fast, right? And you have these milestones, and you were talking about it, from going from carbon copy to, fast moving technology. But like this is a milestone. And again, I know we're way past this conversation. This is a 10-month ago conversation. Yeah. But I'm still shocked. I'm still like surprised and shocked about what it can do.
Well, what I'm kind of surprised and shocked, and not just AI, but tech in general, and as you know, because you and I worked very closely on this topic for several years, adoption of the technology continues to be a pain point for so many in our industry. Yeah. And I keep coming back to the fact that, listen, folks, it's not going away. Yeah. It's not like we're going to wake up tomorrow and go, oh, you know what, just kidding. We're going to go back to how it was.
just kidding.
Just kidding.
Just put your application in the trans box.
Yeah,
and,
right. Oh my God, that actually might be fun. That might see. Can you imagine how everyone would react to that?
I used to be an AE, right? So I lived with trans box. I had trans box all over. And as an AE, you'd go into an office, and you'd see trans box on a lender. I'd go I'd go find out. Hey, why are you sending that loan over to that lender? So like you'd use it for your own.
Yeah.
I'd end up winning the loan, of course.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. No, but you're right. I mean, that's always been the struggle. And look, I get it, right? Hard. It's hard, right? And we could certainly peel that back. Why it's hard, how to embrace all the stuff, And I think what I recommend to everybody, right? Originators, doesn't matter. Like you don't need to do all the tech, right? But pick one.
Oh,
pick one or two.
It sounds eerily familiar to me.
Just go down the middle with it. Start there. Get good at one or two. You don't need to do 3 and 4.
Yeah. No, it's really true. And master that one. And maybe you start trying to use that platform, that piece of tech, whatever, and you find out it's just not who you are. Yeah. Well, then go to the next one. Yeah. And you'll find something. Yeah. That helps and works and actually just makes you feel great about getting up every day and doing what we do.
Well, and look, from an originator standpoint, everybody's using tech in some degree or another, right. to what depth they are, yes, that's different per person. But the other thing is now it's like table stakes. Like a CRM used to be a big tech. Well, that's just table stakes.
Right.
And how much are we using it?
Yeah, that
Mortgage Coach, MBS Highway, and different elements, and there's so many, options out there.
Yeah.
Just lean in and use something because again, that's going to help leverage you.
Well, and it'll separate you from those that aren't using it.
That's right.
And it separates you from the Rocket Mortgages of the world.
Well, and I was having this conversation with a CEO the other day, and actually lots of CEOs, who I work with, where look, it is a new era of lending. It's a new era of mortgage and real estate. Just like post 2008 was a new era.
Yeah.
And really, if you think about it, after 2008, distributed retail was essentially born after 2008. Right? And so now here we are at the precipice of a new era once again. And we are not out of the woods yet. We keep thinking that rates are coming out. Look at the 10-year. I know today was like, 4.3 or something?
Yeah, no, it's rough.
But I am seeing production increase right now. And what my belief in even though rates are up and why production is going up, yes, we are entering into the spring, summer season.
Sure.
However, it's also, I believe we have market acceptance.
Of course, it's become the norm.
It's become the norm, right? The mortgage industry does not, or real estate does not operate well during bridge seasons, right. Ups or downs.
Yeah.
Well, now we have market acceptance. So, hey, the rate is the rate now.
Yeah.
So we got to lean into that and just go get it. Like we should not be having rate conversations anymore. And I say that with a grain of salt. I get it. I don't want to get beat up over
this. You and I are on the same page.
I get it. But what I guess what I want to say maybe instead is we should not let rate be our defense. We have to go on offense. And if rate is a defense for you, then we need to solve for that separately. Yeah. And we know what goes into rate. So,
well, you and I are in the same camp there when it comes to rate. And I've been as bold as to say what someone asked what your rate, and I would say, well, who cares? Now I'm overstating that.
Yeah, because, no, I get it. Right.
Because as you know, I'll get attacked for making.
Yeah, I know, I get it. Same, right? It's easy to say that, right?
Yeah, but I've just never believed that someone woke up in a day and said, I'll buy a house today, but only if I can get 3%.
Yeah.
To your point earlier, which you pointed out that AI and tech can't replace for, is what is a client's pain? What do they need to solve for? What is it? And that's why they need us. Yeah. Right? Focus on that. And then here's the rate for that. Yeah. It's versus starting off going, well, what's your rate? Yeah. So.
Well, we got to, and again, let's go back to what I was talking about earlier around our ideal clients and think about, for everybody out there. Okay. So you have to first ask your question specifically, who is your ideal client? Now, for originators, the obvious answer is like, oh, well, my borrowers. Okay. What kind of borrowers? Is it first-time home buyers? Is it veterans? Is it investors? Is it, so we have to break that down and think about that a little bit so we know how to target, because there's different opportunities and problems within each one of those. So we got to, now there's other ideal clients within that. What about your referral partners?
Right.
Who's your ideal client as a referral partner? What about your team? Are you a producing branch manager? Are you running a team? You have to work with a team. So who's your ideal client, that, and what are their problems and opportunities, and how do you help solve and create that? So again, the more we reframe towards that, ultimately, AI is on one side, and being human is on the other side. Yeah. And going back to that post that you brought up, so for the crowd, I did an Instagram post, and it's that short form post where you do a video for 14 seconds. Yeah. Right, just videoing you doing something. You could be typing at the computer. You could be looking out a window. You're not doing anything. You're just, here's me doing nothing for 14 seconds, which, by the way, blows my mind that that's what content is right now. That's what, what has happened to our human race that our attention span is now 3 to 7 seconds?
Right.
Because when I started doing more of the social media 10 months ago, you still did 45, 60-second videos, but now you can't even do that. Like, what is going on? So I'm doing that short form. I'm at a coffee shop with someone I'm collaborating with, another coach, actually, and we were talking about this. I'm like, okay, will you just film me taking notes on my Remarkable? Yeah. I had a coffee shop drinking coffee, just 14 seconds, just film me. And I start doing it, and I just start laughing hysterically. I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing it. This is so, funny. But that's what I posted because that's just who I am. That's me. I'm just laughing, and that's being human. And that was my point. Will AI replace us? No, because people connect to people, not product.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't see that ever replacing people, actually. Yeah. I mean, it's the newest, latest craze, and it's that type of thing. And, all right, listen, everybody, we're going to take a quick break and get a word from our sponsor. Give us a couple minutes. We'll be right back. Do not miss your opportunity to work with Ascend Experience, private coaching and leadership consulting, working with branch managers, leaders, and originators. Ascend Experience is offering the Success Foundations Masterclass, the head, heart, and legs of success, where you and your team will strengthen your success mindset, ignite and align your personal brand to your marketing and client engagement, and optimize your actions towards results. If you want to level up your business at a foundational level, this is your opportunity to, make shift happen. Be sure to take a look at the show notes for links to Craig and his social media, and also take advantage of using T Rowe as a discount code for 20% off when working with Craig. Knowing Craig and the results he delivers at a deep and thoughtful level, this is truly a unique opportunity to go way beyond other trainings out there and truly into what makes you successful on purpose and in your design. Okay, well, there you have it. No surprise that our sponsor was Ascend Experience.
Yeah, how coincidental.
It just magically happened that way. Anyway, Craig, we were just playing around and we're like, you know what? We should just try ChatGPT, and wouldn't you know it, I can't log in.
Which is awesome as a representation of why tech isn't everything. We tried using it and it wouldn't work.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's awesome. Yeah, let's just take a little sip from that.
Yeah, exactly. So let's switch up here a little bit. So we already mentioned you've gone in the last 10, 11 months from roaming around aimlessly in Vegas at an event to finding your stuff.
You don't want to roam around aimlessly too much in Vegas.
But I think about it and I'm like, first thing in the morning, I'm up and I'm out and I'm visiting and I'm having breakfast and I don't know where Craig's at. Craig's doing it.
I was actually in my room working. Yeah. And I was recruiting. I actually recruited a big branch on board with this company I was at the time. Because I still believed, I think we could make it work, but it was shortly thereafter. I'm like, this is not going to work at this company I was at. I had no,
Yeah.
But in my heart of hearts while I was there, you saw there's some movies like, you got pain behind your eyes. There was pain behind my eyes. Yeah. I was, look, I was hurt after Finance of America was shut down. I mean, that hurt me. And, as you know, I had just gotten over cancer.
Right.
I had just gotten over 6 months of chemo and radiation and all the things that go with you have cancer to, okay, I'm going to die, to I can't leave my family.
Right.
To, okay, now I got to make it through treatment and going through, chemo and radiation and everything. And, a lot of lessons and survival and struggle, mindset plus medicine, all of it to come out from that successfully, thank God, successfully, right? Cancer free, to then 6 weeks later losing my job, which was, and this is shocking for people, it was harder for me to lose my job than it was to fight cancer.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
But I think it's telling too, Craig, because I think so many of us, I know myself, I put so much emphasis in the job that I do and the people that I serve, way beyond just myself.
That's right.
And so, and of course, the losing job part, I went through the same thing, right? And it's like, what?
Right.
Now what?
Right.
And
I think and I'm not going to judge myself versus others because it was hard on everybody.
Yeah.
And when we started this podcast off, we were talking about becoming a mortgage coach, and I was talking about reducing decision fatigue. We created a theme that helps us establish an identity. Well, my identity was my job.
Yeah.
And I think because I had so much wrapped up into that, and that hurt me because my identity was now broken. I felt broken.
Yeah.
And so that's, there's certainly a lot more we can peel back with this, but the point being that was what contributed to that being a harder time for me. And then of course how I got over that, and with help from guys like you, and friends, and absolutely, man.
Yeah,
I mean, you and I stayed close through all of that, right? And you were going through your stuff, I'm going through my stuff. You landed where you land, I landed, where I landed. And I wasn't sure. I'm like, here we go again. Let's make it work. I'm going to rebuild like I did it before, 14 years ago. But, it just wasn't the right place to be able to do that at. And so, but that also, like, and you said, this is what you said, brother. This is happening for you, not to you. And you said that when Finance America was going down.
That's right.
And that was a beacon for me because I'm in a leadership role, and I could not effectively lead in that moment because I was beat the F up.
Yeah.
It broke me, and I was trying. Again, I'm still recovering from cancer, and then this, and it was a dark time, and that was a guiding light for me. I will never forget seeing those words in an email that you sent, and this is the power of reframing. How important that is.
Yeah. By the way, you'll remember that because I sent a video out to everybody.
Yeah.
In fact, it was the largest watched video I ever had in all my.
Everybody was starving
for something. Yeah. But I unknowingly had a little bit of an advantage regarding that mindset. Right at the same time, and I think you and I have talked about this, I had signed up to go spend 2.5 days with Renee Rodriguez and Amplify.
That's right.
And I had signed up actually at Momentum Builder the previous year, paid for it.
Which I missed because I was in cancer treatment.
Right. And so I postponed it, and then I tried to postpone it again. And Renee and team said, yeah, no, we're not letting you postpone it and reschedule. We've counted on you. You need to be here. So I'm like, okay, I'm on my way. So off to Vegas I go for that session. And it was right then and there. It was there with that group of people, with Renee, where my mindset shifted to that of it's happening for me, not to me. And it changed everything for me. In fact, it's even sent me down this path that I'm on now. Hands 100%. Down.
And I can see that.
Hands down, I think I've told you, I think on the last time you were in the studio, there's a handful of people that have had a major impact on me professionally and personally in some cases. You, Dave Savage, and Renee Rodriguez. By the way, I just saw Dave last week in Texas.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Nice. I was hanging out with him a little bit. We're going to get together, actually. He wants to
get him in the studio.
Yeah, he wants to do a session, and we talked about you a little bit. Funny thing, he likes you, man.
I'll pay him that $100 later.
So, but isn't it interesting? And the whole time during those 3 years or whatever that we worked hand in hand, you and I, you were a mindset guy. Like, loan officers call, the skies are falling, rates have gone up, my loan's delayed, whatever the case was. you were always that calming voice. You were always that, hey, listen, wait a minute. Let's maybe look at a different perspective of this. Let's take a deep breath. How do we solve for it? Yeah. Get your mind right. You know, it was, you know.
Well, and that was my personal brand, right? And just like your personal brand, that, you know, that what Renee helped, I think, pull out of you. Now, by the way, it was there way before that. Yeah. Which is what I recognized in you when I, you know, promoted you up into, you know, being, you know, was it chief loyalty manager?
Look. I'm so glad you brought this up, because people to this day say, now, you worked at Finance America. What was your title? I said, well, I don't know. What do you want to be? Like, I was, what was it? It was the retention and loyalty manager. Well, I was the national.
Let's start with words. National loyalty. And I'm not sure what else happened.
And then retention manager.
And we probably added that.
And then you decided I was the national opportunities manager.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm like, you know what? Things have changed, right? Yeah. Shift happened.
Right, that's right.
Opportunities is much better right now. Let's go forward, because we don't have as much of the, you know, what we had before.
By the way, you're going to love this. I don't know if Katrina told you or not, but I have been able to retrieve all of my videos from my old BombBomb account. Nice. And so I now have cowbell. I have the cowbell
Let's
video.
give a little background on where cowbell came from.
Yeah. So Craig, you used to say to me all the time, that's how he referred to me, the national opportunities manager. Like, I was always doing videos, and I was always out in front of the sales teams nationally saying, here's what the next opportunity is. Here's what you do. It's always positive energy with me. I try and really stay in that lane, right?
Hey, you're the front man.
And you started referring to it as, we need more cowbell. We've got to have more cowbell, Tim. And which is, of course, from the Saturday Night Live skit. That's right. And with Will Ferrell and crew. And then who's the actor?
It was Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken, yeah. We got to have more cowbell.
More cowbell. Which, by the way, probably the two worst impersonations. You know. Awful.
So what I did, just to have some fun, we were actually getting ready to go to sales rally, and that was we were gonna be doing that on the stage, by the way. And so I shot that video as a precursor to, we were gonna bring cowbell to the sales rally, and here in this very studio, I literally did a video where I reenacted it, and I actually had you as Christopher Walken with your name underneath him. And I'm like, oh, you need a little more? You need more commitment? If you still have that video,
you need to add that to this. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready for the world to see that.
Dude, but see, like that is why our culture was so good. Because again, right, take your job seriously, but not yourself too seriously. Like that level of kind of fun and wit and humility is what was so good about us.
Oh, yeah.
It was so good.
I loved it.
Yeah.
By the way, Katrina just sent you and I a video. I don't know if I dare play that on
it's a surprise video. I'm sure it's good. It's from Katrina.
Well, yeah. It's not like it's going to be.
I wouldn't necessarily play one of my videos, without reviewing it first. But it's, oh, man. I miss those times. And, of course, like we always want to like look forward, but I do miss those times. We had such a good, that culture and that leadership and what we all did. And in conjunction with our branches and our originators and all the employees throughout the company, like there was a time where it was something special.
No doubt.
It was something special.
Yeah, and by the way, and I know you hear the same thing, but I hear that all the time.
I do too.
I mean, look, to your point, product is product, right? But man, when it comes down to the people, you're right. Yeah. We had something really special.
The comment I get a lot is we didn't know how good we had it, right? And I get it. Like, and time moves on, right? I mean, it is what it is, right? Now, here's what I'm happy about. Here we are, a year and a half or so later, and a lot of people moved, right? People had to make moves, and a lot of people have now moved again. Yeah. There's a second round because everyone had to land somewhere, and there's a second round of moves, and I'm seeing more of the quote unquote family starting to come back together in different places.
I agree. And by the way, that was showcased at Momentum Builder. Yeah. Right? It was almost like a small reunion for so many of us. Yeah. But when you look at where some of our leadership from those days has landed, I think, oh my gosh, there's some good things happening for some other companies in the business, right? We got you out doing the coaching and keynote stuff, and we've got other folks in leadership roles. I'm like, okay, these are the same guys and gals that did this for us back at FAM. Yeah. And that's huge. I mean, I think
I think a lot of lessons in between. I mean, I'm not a new person, but I am a changed person.
Right.
You know, and man, now I don't want to go through all of that again.
No, I know.
I don't want to go through cancer and you know the company eroding and all the BS and then going down blah blah blah. Right, but like again, going back to it happened for me. These were pieces on the chessboard that had to happen for me to finally. And look, it was April 11th last year, 11 months ago, or just shy thereof. And when I left that company that I was with for that short time, man, it was a Monday that I left, and it was Tuesday at 8 a.m., man, and I was pen on paper, business planning, Ascend Experience, the name of my company. Yeah. This was always my life after mortgage plan. I just didn't think that would be now. I thought that would be later. But I said, all right, F it. This is what I'm meant to do. Let's go.
Yeah.
Nothing is in my way. And I approached it like that, right?
Yeah.
With pure, like, I am just going to chase what I believe my purpose is. And
well, and it's what you're passionate about.
Well, and I had also, but even with that, it is. And it wasn't so much the coaching. I'm passionate about leadership and mindset. And this is what it really is, actually. And this has now become like my purpose statement. But really, it's my joy, purpose, and passion to help you succeed on purpose and in your design. Now, that's my fancy statement. Yeah. But really what that means is my entire career from sales to management to leadership was always focused on helping my clients succeed. And when I learned early on that if I focused and invest in your success, that makes me successful. So selfishly, sure. For my success and my career and my advancement, I knew that was rooted in helping you succeed. Yeah. And that's where I found, right, my voice and my narrative and what I'm good at, because I'm really good at that.
Yeah.
No doubt. And so that's, you know, and that was really, and I had to, you know, I didn't have to find that. I knew it was there. But that was the guiding light that is my North Star for what I do, you know, and that was pen on paper. And I've been recruited, you know, through it. And I said, no, this is what I'm meant to do. Now, who knows what happens in the future? Right. But, man, I couldn't be happier. And I'm really happy it happened last year.
Yes.
Because now I'm almost a year into it.
Right.
Because sometimes you say, man, I can hardly wait for a year from now.
Yeah.
Right. And I can hardly wait from a year from now. But I'm also really excited that I'm a year past last year.
Yeah. You know, Craig, it's interesting. What you're doing is just amazing. And again, to go from where we were roaming around in Vegas a year ago to now you being on the stage this year at the same event is just mind-blowing to me. And it's actually, if I'm being honest, that's one of the hurdles I still have to get over. It's like, I love doing that kind of thing, but what's the next step to be on the stage? You know,
so is the hurdle to... is it the next stage? What's the hurdle?
Well, so here's the hurdle. Here's the hurdle. I speak to loan originators and management and leadership.
And you're really good at it.
All the time, right? I think I have a lot of good things to say. Here's the and I get great feedback, by the way.
I know you do.
Here's the problem. I struggle with believing it. I struggle with people saying, oh my gosh, Tim, we love your energy. And I don't get it. I guess I don't know how to phrase that, but it's almost like I almost.
Is it an imposter syndrome?
Well,
thing?
I don't know. I don't know if I feel almost like maybe I haven't done enough. Maybe I haven't done enough to do a keynote, or I've emceed major events. I've done lots of classes. I've done lots of FaceTime, as you know, at different things, but I guess I just haven't woke up and decided, you know what, I'm a keynote. You know what I mean?
I think you just nailed it, brother. Now, what you are saying is a very common thread with everybody, including all the keynotes you see on stages.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody started somewhere, right? And I think what I'm hearing from you is there's a conflict in your belief system.
Yeah, no doubt.
And hey, that's natural, man. And a lot of, like when I focus on with coaching, right? It's like, first of all, hey, no judgment, bro. No judgment. In fact, you're throwing this out there for the public to hear. That's vulnerable, man.
Yeah.
And, and I can tell you all day long how good you are. And you're like the front man of the Stones, brother.
Yeah.
And you're, right? But like, I can tell you all that, and that feels good in the moment. And that's motivating, right? But here's the challenge, man. Motivation does not last, right? That fades, right? We need momentum. And so, this is definitely a conversation we should have, because you do belong on the stage. You have a voice and you have something important to say. And here's, someone said this to me once, and I'll say it to you. And everybody out there, right? This goes into your personal brand, but the point is, you have something that the world wants, and you owe it to the world to give it to them. So don't hold that back.
Yeah.
You have something to say. You have a message in there, and people are listening, and they want to hear it, right? But we want to help pull that out. And it might just take a little bit of let's just think about that, and let's maybe frame that a little bit.
Right.
And that might give you a little bit of a North Star to kind of go towards, because you do belong up there.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess I just haven't made that decision, I guess, to say that's who I am. I've had lots of people tell me that, including Renee and you, and
Maybe you don't need to start with that's who I am. Maybe just start with, what are some of my thoughts? What are some of my ideas? Maybe start thinking about, all right, so what are people paying attention to? Why do people listen to me? What is it? What is it that I'm sharing with them? Right? There's something in there that you're giving that people want.
By the way, I think you identified this about me. To your point, you said this earlier. I think you identified this about me maybe on the early days of when you and I met some years ago, when I was doing my thing over at the other mortgage company and rolled up to you, but I was just in the DBA world, right? Here's where I think I resonate with people, especially when it comes to loan originators. I am them. I am you coined the phrase some time ago, street level leadership.
Right.
There's probably nothing that describes me better than that phrase right
Absolutely.
there.
You're a street level guy, man. You ride motorcycles. You can build houses.
I was at the boat drags this weekend. I put in a new door.
You connect with people at a street level. So what does that mean? What does that mean to you? What does that mean to your ideal clients? Who are your ideal clients? Why do they care?
Yeah.
Why should they care? What does street level mean? And what's the difference? Between up high and at the street, and why do you care about being on the street? Being street level, and how you impact others, right? I mean, those are things that we want to peel back, because there's a voice in there,
Yeah, for sure. Of course, I love seeing all the speakers up there and stuff too. I just have to, I have to, and then again, seeing you jump up there. What?
The thing that, because look, I face the same stuff, right? I mean, it can go into imposter, syndrome. And the one thing, look, everybody started somewhere. And, there's some common threads with all of the elite. And this goes into my momentum framework, right? Number one, every elite athlete, CEO, leader, originator, salesperson, doesn't matter. They are able to remove obstacles. They're able to get over their obstacles. So there's a common thread there. And then we can break down how they do that and why that matters, right? We know why it matters, but how to get over your obstacles. And once we get over that, wherever we're going, our goals, our change, our business plan, I want to do a keynote.
Yeah.
I mean, and look, that could be the goal. I want to do last year I said, okay, I want to do a keynote. I want to be on that momentum builder stage. I want to do keynotes in front of organizations, teams, branches. Right. I want to be on podcasts. I need to know what I'm saying. So I started breaking down and really pulling in all my content and developing my framework, which oriented towards my coaching. But what is it that I care about? And what I realized was, again, mindset matters. Helping you succeed on purpose and in your design. Okay, that matters. What does that mean? How do we do that?
Right.
And I started really, really dissecting and pulling things back that made me successful. And if that made me successful, well, I think that can help you be successful. Right. And everybody started somewhere. Yeah. And it might just start with you saying, I want, not need, by the way. Yeah. There's a difference between want and need. Need is associated with cortisol. That's our stress hormone. We don't want that. Want is associated with dopamine, right? That's our happy, happy, joy, joy, right? That's the hormone that also creates our reward system, which is one of the ingredients in the habit loop, right? Again, I could go nerdy on this, but what I want to say is I want you to think about not the need, but the want. And if you want to do a keynote, we step into that framework, we step into that theme, that identity that I am a thought leader, I am a speaker, I am, and then we start breaking down. Now, how do we do that?
Yeah. By the way, you said the want drives a cortisol reaction.
No, the need drives cortisol. Stress.
Reaction.
Yeah,
and which is stress.
Right.
But the want is
dopamine.
Yeah. There it is. There's the dopamine. Now,
and that feeds into reward.
You've done now in the last 10, 11 months, of course, you've done several keynotes. You've been on numerous podcasts. Yeah. But especially in regards to the keynotes and that kind of stuff, is that not almost like a high when you get off the stage? Like, do you just feel jacked up?
Yeah, I mean, the larger keynotes, absolutely. But, I get a high from like the masterclass I give.
Yeah.
Right. Which, is essentially like 7 keynotes that I give over, 7 weeks on like a Zoom call, for example. And because that has a small group that is helping transform and helping people pivot or change or shift. But again, it's oriented towards their design, not necessarily my design, but it helps people move forward. That's where I get.
Yeah. By the way, I love that. And the reason I asked that question, Craig, is because I have, as you know, I've emceed some very large events.
And
the crowd is 700 people, right?
Yeah.
And I've done that, and so I'm comfortable doing that, and I just know how I get into it.
But
like,
why? Why are you what is it that's giving you that high?
I don't know if I can identify. I mean, some of it is nerves initially. Like I'm
Getting
so
over
built up
something?
to it, like building up to it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then I do it, and then when I am done, I'm like, man, I want to go dancing. Like,
yeah,
when
you got that adrenaline going,
Yeah.
But is it okay? So let's break that down. You got the nerves.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? What am I gonna say? And then you get over all of that, and you do all the hard work. There is a lot of hard work that goes into that. You don't just show up and start talking.
No.
There's a ton of hard work. Then you're on stage, and you see the crowd. Well, sometimes you can't even see the crowd.
Right. Yeah.
Then you get off the stage, and you just accomplished something. Now, there's something I'm going towards, which I think, because you've told me this.
Well, I know for myself, and this may sound wrong, but I thrive on acknowledgement.
That's where I'm going.
I thrive on that. Like I think I've shared this with you over the years. I said to one of my previous bosses, and this is not a good business plan, so I'm not here to promote this, but I've said, look, you don't need to pay me a lot of money. You need to reach out every now and again and say, man, we love the job you're doing. You're making a difference. That's what gets me going.
So let me ask you this. So that's what I know that about you. And I think, look, we all want that, right? But especially from what you're talking about, what is it in the attaboy that you're looking for? What is it that's giving you that high?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, honestly, I'd probably have to chase it all the way back to my to my childhood.
Well, we don't have to get too much on the couch, right? We can off camera, but so let me ask you this. When you're at an event and you're emceeing and when you have someone from the crowd say, Tim, that was really good. Thank you.
Yeah.
That really made a difference. Thank you. Why do you feel good about that?
Because I help people. That's what
Bingo.
That's what I love to do. I want to provide a value.
Okay.
Okay.
So there's a North Star because you helped somebody.
Yeah.
You help people. That feeds your soul. Now, by the way, that seems like an obvious answer, but not really, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily float everybody,
right?
Right? But I know this about you.
Yeah. It's just who I am.
So that is a North Star for you. So so think about that in relation to you're emceeing an event. What if you're just instead doing a keynote? How do you help not everybody,
right?
How do you help your ideal client who's sitting in that audience?
Yeah.
How do you help them? What's their problem? What's their opportunity?
And by the way, that's where I think I've done very well with small, intimate groups. It's great to get the feedback because you can get it live. You don't have the bright lights in your face. You don't, you know what I mean? You can feel the audience. You can do Q&A, much more intimate, and I've definitely thrived in that environment.
Well, totally two different things, right?
Yeah. Totally two different things. That's why, and I think I've just got like this barrier, like I almost don't belong there.
Well, that goes into the imposter syndrome. And look, that again, that's all natural. No judgment, right?
Yeah.
The thing that's fun about the keynote, especially when you're on the big stage is, for me too, is like I enjoy, the popularity of it. I like, people, hey, like when someone comes up to me in the crowd and says, I really like that. Thank you, man. That was great. I'm like, really? Thank you. I appreciate hearing that. Like I genuinely appreciate hearing that because we're street level guys. Yeah. Right. And that's what makes Momentum Builder so good because it's all street level guys.
Oh, for sure. Well, and by the way, the reason I really wanted to ask that question regarding the cortisol dopamine effect is because there's a lot of folks in our industry that actually shy away from doing things like lunch and learns,
correct,
real estate meetings, and I'm here to tell you,
correct,
do it because you'll get a high out of it. You know what I mean?
Like the high is going to be the reward.
Yeah.
But here's this is a big frame in my masterclass because here's the thing. There is so much goodness on the other side of whatever that goal is. And let's just say doing an event, doing a lunch and learn. There's so much goodness on the other side of it. From feeling good about it, and you're helping others, and you're expanding your referral partner network, and you're going to create new business. There's all this great stuff. But for many, there's an obstacle in the way. And it might be, I don't know how to fill the room. I don't know what to say. I don't know what the content is. I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. And that statement right there, I'm uncomfortable, can prevent greatness.
No doubt.
And so again, this is what I focus on is, okay, no problem. First, we have to identify it. Right? If you name it, you can tame it, but that's not enough either. We got to isolate it from the pack. What are you uncomfortable about? And then we solve for that. And we do that, and all of a sudden we're less uncomfortable. But I break this down so we can, right? And so now, again, this goes back to what one of the most common themes or threads in all the elite is they're able to get past their obstacles.
Right.
But not everybody can do that. So I help people get past that. And other levels so we can do that event or that uncomfortable thing. It could be cold calling. It could be, I want to do more social media, but I don't want to be behind the camera. I don't want to do film. I don't look good. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to do it. All this stuff. That was me.
Oh, was it? It was absolutely you. I'm sitting here thinking, I was like, man, sure, we've talked about going from in the last year to doing keynotes. Man, you never did video. Like,
no. Well, I never. This is probably one of my biggest mistakes, certainly in the latter years of my leadership career, was that I did not leverage my personal brand outside of the company.
Yeah.
I had a personal brand within the company because, look, your brand is just who you are. Everybody has one. It's just your legacy, your reputation.
Yeah.
But I did not put myself out there outside of the company, and here's the only reason why, because I didn't have to.
Right.
I did not have to. And I didn't want to enough.
Yeah.
And that was a mistake. That is one of my bigger mistakes in my career. Now, starting my company and getting into this side, well, now I have to. I have to, which goes into I want to. Because I also, social media's for real, man. Like, here's all the reasons why it's good, and here's the things we don't like, right? Look, it's free. It helps you leverage. It creates visibility. You go wider, you go deeper, all this stuff, right? But I also like when someone likes my content. I'm like, yes, awesome.
Yeah.
But here's the funny thing. I run into people like friends or colleagues, or I'll be at an event like, oh, hey, I really like your content. That really helped.
Yeah.
I love your thought leadership, right? And I don't see them on social media. They're not liking or commenting,
right.
But they saw it.
Yes.
And I get a high off of that. That's a reward. That's dopamine. So I want to do more of that. So all my content, it's not ChatGPT. It's all genuine because I am trying to literally help one person on the other side of that who's reading it, and I get that feedback.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't need anything more than that, right?
No, it's so amazing. Well, listen, Craig, in typical fashion, you and I, we could do this forever and
it's only been 5 minutes, hasn't it?
Yes, it feels like 5 minutes, but my beer's gone, so
it just means a refill. But that's
it's just a refill, which means we need to pause. But let's recap here for a second.
Yeah.
Hands down, the message is AI doesn't replace us, right? That's just adopt technology, yes, but it allows you to help more people. Right? I mean, that's how I would say it.
Use technology for what it is.
Yeah.
And don't let it become something that, is not for you, right? Like, be human.
Yeah.
And again, Why be human? Because people connect with people, not product.
Yeah, so true.
Technology is there to help leverage your humanness.
Yeah.
To go wider and deeper, because we have to go wider and deeper.
Yeah, and then what I just loved, and you said it awfully fast, so I want to make sure to say this again. You just said a phrase a few minutes ago when you're talking about and you're working with clients and you're identifying things, whether it's a fear of being on stage or whatever the case is, and you're really breaking it down because, brother, you really broke that down. Like, you know.
I got a lot to say there.
Yeah, I know, but I love, you said it so quick, so I want to make sure everyone picks up what you said. You said, name it to tame it. And I'm telling you, dude, that's awesome. Like,
and I wish I could claim that as my own, but
I know,
it's a thing.
You know,
but again, we're just gonna keep this in the frame of, if you are uncomfortable about something, that's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do. Likely there's something, especially if it's new, if you're uncomfortable about something in there, I don't want to make a cold call. I don't know what to say. Doesn't matter. It's okay. Yeah. Just name what you are uncomfortable about. So now we can get to work to isolate it.
Yeah.
We can de-escalate our emotion wrapped around it, which is stress or anxiety, or maybe our belief systems are off, like we talked about that earlier, right?
Yeah.
And now we just solve for that. So it's no longer about I'm uncomfortable or I'm stressed or I have anxiety. It's more around solve the problem. What's the solution? How do we break this down and do it?
Yeah.
And I'm very successful helping my clients get past those obstacles because there's so much greatness on the other side of that.
Yeah, that's so awesome. All right, so now before we plug off, I'm going to go out totally
plug
off the blue.
Is that
I don't know. Yeah, unplug, plug, whatever.
I feel like you just called me something.
I'm going to hold this up to the microphone, and I'm going to see what Katrina has to say.
Oh, boy.
We can cut it out if we have to. It's not like we're live.
No, keep it live.
Okay, you two. It's really dark in Pennsylvania right now. I just did my St. Patrick's Day Peloton ride. I'm going to get Declan. And I just wanted to say I'm really excited that you're together. I love the content I've received so far from Craig. And I just can't wait for more. We need more cowbell. More cowbell.
More cowbell.
All right, bye, guys.
She says more.
See? There's a personal, maybe that's the name,
that's fantastic. Maybe that's it.
Brother, we need more
Maybe that's
cowbell.
how I take a stage. Shirt pulled halfway up, banging the...
That's how you come on. If there's anything in this world that we need more of, it's your cowbell, brother.
By the way, to give full credit, that voice you just heard was our very favorite, and I mean, truthfully.
My marketing coach.
I mean, Katrina.
And our friend.
Katrina Orlando. I mean, Katrina, are you kidding me?
Yeah, she's helped so many people, and she does
by the way, I didn't have bracelets in Vegas. While we were in Vegas, I didn't have any Katrina's bracelets. Today, however, I have 5 of them. I've got bracelets gone all.
I got one.
Think, retain, obtain, win every day. That's what right?
That is so good, by the way.
Sales Success Studio, T Rowe.
All of it is gold, like pure nuggets. You know what I have, which is the absolute quintessential philosophy that is a guiding light for everybody, especially when you're onto a good idea.
Yeah.
Mine says smells like bacon.
I got to tell you, I can't even see bacon now without thinking about that. It's a true story. I just saw someone, I can't remember, I was thumbing through something on social media, and someone simply just had a picture of bacon. And I actually scrolled back to it thinking it had to be you that posted something like that.
The thing is, like, it's funny because I use that, like, jokingly. Again, it's just funny, right?
Yeah.
Like, it just, and I gotta give my, my boy Juice, the huge compliment, right? Because he was really, like, I think I've told the story before. We're doing a management meeting. We're both on a walk together. We're both on the phone, right? We're not together. And I'm just going over this big idea I have. Hey, I want to do this. I want to do this. And he's my big idea. And he's like, yeah. And then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, it smells like bacon. I'm like, yeah, that means I'm onto a good idea, right? He's like, yeah, it smells like, I'm like, it smells like bacon. He's like, no, I'm walking by a house. It smells like bacon. So, ergo, henceforth, let it be said, shall it be written. Smells like bacon means you're on to a good idea.
I love that.
Yeah. So I'm trying to change the whole business buzzword landscape. No more synergies, no more cascade. It's just, like smells like bacon is a, business.
I love it.
Term, so.
All right. Well, listen, I hate to do this because, again, we could go. But the thing is, you're just down the road.
I'm just down the road.
You can just come back to the studio anytime.
This is only part 2, man.
Right? That's right. It's only part 2. And we went on for a while. So, Craig, again, I can't thank you enough for being here. And now, listen, as we sign off here, well, I'm going to give you the, it's been.
Thank you. It really means a lot. Thank you. I didn't ask for that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's so
Standing
awesome.
go. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode of T Rowe with Mr. Craig Davis. Craig, thank you.
Thanks for having me, man. I love it. Love the conversation, and I'm really excited to see your keynote on stage.
It's coming.
Yeah,
all right. See ya.